Hello, Psychologies magazine readers and friends. I'm Mary Fenwick. I write the Agony column for Psychologies magazine, and I can see some people joining. Hi, Helena. Hi, Herbie. Claudia. Lavelda. Hi. Hi, Debs. Emma. Hi, Lavelda. Say hello when you're joining and let me know where you're joining from. I'm Mary Fenwick. I write the Agony column for Psychologies magazine, which means that once a month I get to make my comments on 3 reader letters, and once a week I'm here 5:30-ish on a Tuesday for weekly wisdom, available to answer your questions live and generally facilitate a bit of discussion among people who are followers of Psychologies magazine about a topic. And people who read or follow Psychologies magazine tend to have in common that you're interested in emotional well-being, that you're interested in the latest psychological research. Weekly wisdom, this sounds fun, says Lavelda. Thank you. It is. One of the other big kind of unifying factors for people connected with Psychologies magazine is an interest in kindness, I would say. So we want to know what the latest research and thinking is, but we also want to keep hold of some bigger, deeper, stronger values around kindness and community, including kindness to ourselves. So if you're interested in getting the latest issue of Psychologies delivered to your door, I'm just having a look. I think I've got it in front of me. Have a look for the link in the bio. That's what it looks like in the shops this month. It has November on the cover, but that's the issue that subscribers have at the moment. So for those just joining, I'm Mary Fenwick. I write the monthly Agony column for Psychologies, and each week I'm here on a Tuesday around about 5:30, a little bit late today, but to chat to readers really. So I'm here to answer any questions that you might have at the moment, but also to encourage you to share what's going on for you in these weekly wisdom sessions. What's your wisdom this week? What wisdom would you like this week? The topic that I want to lead us towards this week is about social connecting and networking in a sense, but I don't necessarily mean social media networks. I mean our actual social connections. What is keeping you going in terms of your connections with other people at the moment? I'm noticing this myself, maybe particularly because I'm in the category of empty nesters, where 3 out of my 4 children are at university this year, slight record, and the oldest one has moved out anyway. So as of last week, I am completely living on my own. So I'm having to be more conscious about making sure that I have good quality connection, at least one good quality chat with a friend today. Herbie's saying, poor me. I don't know. I don't quite feel like that. I feel the excitement and the possibility is at least in balance, but I can't deny it's a shock. And I think it's to do with context. I was just speaking to a friend about it today, that previously when I've lived on my own, it's there's been so much possibility for what I could be doing. I really say that we have that sense of possibility. House of Self-Therapy, that's so good to hear. Yeah, a lot of the conversation around empty nesting doesn't resonate for me, and I don't know if that's because I'm from New Zealand, where, I don't know, people don't seem to talk about it that much, anyway. But I have been thinking about our social networks, because I think we're storing up potentially a lot of trouble for ourselves if we allow our connections with other people to just gradually slip away. And I'm thinking about this socially, friendship, connection-wise, but also work-wise. So I thought I'd talk about it under both those headings, but I would be interested to know from you what, if anything, you are noticing about your social networks at the moment, your friends, your new friends. Lavelda says, I've really been enjoying the time to connect with me and to review my social connections. Now, to me, review implies deciding that some of them are a bit more worth focusing on than others. Would that be true? I wonder. What is anybody else, or Lavelda, if you would care to expand, what are we noticing about our social connections at the moment? What have we noticed this year? For example, I would be interested in whether it has been possible to make new connections this year. Lavelda is saying that's true, that she is making some choices about which connections are worth keeping up. Herbie says, I'm just 46. Meeting up for coffee with my friends is more important than ever. It keeps me sane. Yeah, I'm assuming when you say that you mean physically meeting up, not just having virtual coffees like we possibly were in the height or depths of lockdown. But I guess one of the things that's changed for a lot of us this year has been appreciating those small moments. I'm thinking about this. I had the intention of talking about networking this week anyway, but I'm thinking about it even more because, all the statistics at the moment are terrible for women at work. Unfortunately, it looks as if women are bearing the brunt of a lot of the redundancies. There's a statistics from New Zealand which has really stuck in my mind, that out of 11,000 jobs lost at one point, 10,000 were women. And I think the statistics so far in the UK have not been so stark, but I don't know how much people are keeping track of them. I'm just going to scroll back slightly and read a couple of comments. Herbie says, I'm not bothering to waste time with people I don't connect with. Yeah, physically meeting up for coffee. And Lavelda says she's made lots and lots of new incredible connections. I think you're particularly skilled at this, Lavelda. So top tips, please share them. Partly I'm thinking about this because Lavelda says, oh dear, this is my, next week I won't know myself, I'll have my new phone. Lavelda says that is so annoying and wrong, those statistics from New Zealand, but there's a woman called Lisa Unwin who I follow on LinkedIn who does a lot of work with legal recruitment, and she's talking about a McKinsey report which implies that something not quite so dramatic but something quite similar is happening in the UK as well. The thing is that a lot of women are feeling so under pressure that they're voluntarily considering downshifting or stepping back a bit as well. So there's a lot going on. Lavelda says, starting a podcast helped, lol, it gave people a reason to talk to me. I bet. Yeah, no, I bet. And Claudia says, I've been ever more grateful for my lovely colleagues, teachers, more than ever this year. I feel more connected with most of them. That's interesting. I think I've said at an earlier point that I've done quite a bit of work with the British Red Cross this year, and also with a lot of people working in hospitals. I'm doing some pro bono and some of my regular coaching and facilitation work has moved into hospitals and health support staff, including one of the London Children's Hospitals, not Great Ormond Street, but and what we hear from the people working in medical world is that those relationships with their colleagues who they really love have become very sustaining for them. Not always enough to prevent people from burning out, but just appreciating the value of your really good colleagues makes a massive difference. What have we got here? Erin's Days says, I've definitely noticed I've become much more introspective, which has been a good thing, as the lack of constant social events has given me time to actually work on myself and enjoy my own time. Lavelda, somebody's saying House of Self-Therapy says, great idea, Lavelda. Hervey says, the older I get, the more I feel I want to connect with myself. Doing body balance at the gym, watching my diet and walking more makes me feel calmer. I was reading a profile of Rupert Everett at the weekend where he talked about his morning routine, which was walk right, stare out the window, and that resonates for me. Lavelda says, I think the quality of our relationships has become much more important, less about volume and more about quality connections. Yeah. One of the things that I was hearing and seeing in workshops, because I was out talking to people a lot about the quality of their social connections in about May, June, and people would have agreed with you that I was working with about the quality was more important. But where it can get a little bit tricky is when you're feeling stressed, you're a bit more scattered and you maybe don't pay as good attention when you're listening to people. It takes a bit more conscious effort to be able to tune out your own stuff and tune into what somebody else is saying, but also can take a bit more conscious effort to be open and vulnerable and answer those questions when people ask how you are, not just say fine, whatever. Claudia says, I became closer with my husband. Oh, that's lovely. It's a really lovely story to hear. We both had to work from home and it was actually an enriching experience for us as a couple. Well, funnily enough, this is different, but sort of same. Some of you will know that my marital status is widowed, unfortunately. So one of the things that's happened is my relationships with my widow friends have got stronger, and I've noticed more what we have in common. That thing of it's not so much that you miss the kind of general couple thing. You're missing a specific person, but also we're not we're not looking for just anyone. Lavelda says, Claudia, I had a similar experience. That's so lovely. Oh, happy couples. And I was also talking to somebody last night who I named this experience, and she was relieved when I put it into words, which is the potential feeling if you are a single parent, you might be surrounded by children and yet be lonely. It is very possible to be surrounded by your own family, your own children, and yet as an adult feel quite isolated and alone. But the two things I wanted to say, Herbie says, so sorry to hear that. I'm going through a divorce, and like you, I'm getting closer to divorced and strong friends who I find very supportive. Yeah, good. Yeah, you definitely find out who your friends are going through divorce. The two things that I wanted to highlight were that last night, I hope you still got me. I've got poor connection. Sincerely, Sina, I've recently swapped video calls for telephone calls again, as I really miss that listening to someone's voice and not having to stay put in one place. I can pop my AirPods in and get one with more. I also notice that I consciously choose to connect with some people by with a phone call, there's one friend who I catch up with regularly each week. Lavelda says I'm still here, yay. Yeah, so there's one person who I catch up with each week, and we do it in a phone call where we both go for a walk. So it's like going for a walk while chatting. As I was saying, last night I went to the pub, oh my word, to the pub, and met up with somebody who I've known for about 15 years, I think, who lives locally, works for the local council, and she has pivoted to doing more business liaison and support. So she got me together with two other women working locally in similar fields, and we went to the pub together, the four of us, and just talked about work and life, really, and it felt close to normal, and it was really, really lovely. The specific piece of advice that I have in mind to share, and I want to make sure that I say it before I get cut off or lose battery or whatever, is to do with networking. And given that a lot of women may be finding that they're back in the job market, whether by choice or not, I just want to talk a little bit about networking in theory for women, because women tend to have a little bit more of a blockage about networking if we think of it as kind of transactional and using people and exploitative and that kind of thing. The mindset shift that tends to help with networking, because it's incredibly valuable, building your professional connections with people that you like and have, you know, a genuine sense of connection with. The mindset shift that helps is if you can think about it in terms of what you want to give. Not to a silly extent, because that is another thing for women. They might just give and give. But if you can approach your networking connections with the idea of what you can share and give and what you might have that other people might find of value, that can really help. And the other element of networking that I want to talk about is the value of I'm going to call them dormant social ties, and I'll explain a bit more about what I mean by that. This thinking comes from a researcher called Herminia Ibarra. Dormant social ties, hold that thought, because Lavelda says share and give versus take. Yeah, completely. That mind, I'm sure you must have made that mindset shift, Lavelda, because I have seen you and I know that's how you operate as well. So the concept of the dormant social tie, this is what I'd like you to take away and share with anybody who you know who is looking for work or looking to build up their professional network. The people who are really strong connections for you, your best help when it comes to finding new ideas and new opportunities, because the people with whom you have a strong existing connection and loads of history, they are probably seeing very similar things to what you're seeing. They're very motivated to help you, they care a lot, but you've probably got quite similar worlds. You're not really expanding your world when you talk to them about what you're looking for in terms of something new. So that's the slight issue with the strong social ties. People who are your kind of weak social ties that you know vaguely, the issue there is they might have lots of information that could be useful, but they're not very motivated to help you. And you know, they might promise and not deliver, and you can't really chase it up so effectively and that kind of thing. So even though they're potentially your allies and your assets, your weak social ties are not as motivated to, as it were, deliver for you. In a situation where you're wanting to find out what's new, what's the current thinking in a field that you used to know, for example, or what are the new opportunities that might have arisen while you weren't paying attention, the people that you want are your dormant connections. That's people with whom you were once really close. Maybe you worked together, or you had some networking connection with them. So once upon a time they were a strong tie for you. You saw a lot of them, but they've sort of drifted apart, drifted away a little bit. Those, Lavelda says this is gold. I love reconnecting and building deeper ties with people in my network. Some people have really surprised me. So I hope this idea of reconnecting with people who have been important to you in the past, or with whom you have had some connection but you've slightly drifted apart, so they're no longer in your very closest circle, but there is the potential to build a really authentic and close and mutually beneficial relationship with those people. Those are the people to look for when you're looking for your new worlds and your next opportunities, your dormant social ties. I am going to wrap up quite soon because I'm having several layers of tech challenge that I keep losing connection and getting told that my battery is about to run out. All of this will be solved next week when I have my new phone. I've just had Designed by Cultivate say hello. Hello, you've come along just as I'm wrapping up. I'm sincerely Sina says, wonderful information, Mary. Thank you for sharing. I'm Mary Fenwick. I write the Agony Aunt column for Psychologies magazine once a month. And once a week, I'm here at round about 5:30 on a Tuesday on the Psychologies magazine page, sharing weekly wisdom. Certainly not just my wisdom, but we're here every week and sharing wisdom between us. If in the meantime you're interested in getting a physical copy of Psychologies magazine delivered to your door, have a look for the link in the bio for the latest offers. This is what it looks like in the shops. In fact, my questions this month are, should I tell my new boss that I may have cancer? I feel hopeless and stuck in a sexless marriage. I have lost connection with my materialistic friend. And we also have got a first person story about a woman who left her job because she was getting so badly bullied. And there's some great resource and information in there about bullying, support that you can get for bullying at work. So Lavelda is speaking to Susie tomorrow on Psychologies TV. I'll tune in for that. Thank you all for joining, and I will see you next week. Thanks, Lavelda. Bye. Thanks, Claudia. Bye.